Thanks to the support as a channel member, Dave Edmondson. There's a curse taking over Chelsea Football Club where every single player I play at centre forward gets injured for a month, which is potentially problematic with our trophy winning aspirations. Hello and welcome to part 7 of my FM23 beta save with Chelsea. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we have the second leg of our Champions League first knockout round tie against Benfica, and we're away against Leicester in the Premier League as we continue to capitalise on now being 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League with a game in hand over Liverpool. Everything on that side of things does seem to be going well. However, where have they hidden the medical centre these days? As you can see, we picked up an injury to Kai Havertz. I think that happened in the last episode. So Kai Havertz, unavailable. I started Armando Broja. He then pulled his calf muscle, became unavailable. So I played Pedro Gonçalves up front. He pulled his hamstring and is now unavailable. Edouard Mendy has also pulled his hamstring and is now unavailable. And Callum Hudson-Odoi was already injured as well. Everyone I've played at centre forward recently has ended up injured. And we're pulling a lot of hamstrings. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. We are down to the bare bones for this Benfica game, which thankfully is already as good as one. We're 4-0 up from the first match. But as you can see, we are starting to struggle for goals a little bit in the Premier League. Just the one past Brighton in that last match. And we could really do without running out of firepower heading into this run of games that has Leicester, Liverpool, Man United, and almost certainly Champions League quarterfinals in there as well. What it means is I am actually having to start Aubameyang in a football match. Old man Aubameyang, who I definitely would like to ship out of the club this summer. And not just because he's an old man, but because he's also not playing very well. Only 2 goals all season at a 6.89. Yes, he's largely been coming off the bench, but when he comes off the bench, he doesn't look any good. His contract dictates he's only an impact sub and he's earning all the money under the sun. So if anyone wants Aubameyang, he's yours. He turns 34 this summer. What were Chelsea thinking signing him? I do not understand. So the team in full, we're going for Kepa in goal in the absence of the injured Mendy. A back four of Chilwell, Pavard, Fofana and James. Kovacic and Kante in midfield. Pulisic, Mount and Sterling is the attacking midfield three behind Aubameyang up front. We don't have any other strikers. What have I just done there? I moved a player. No, I didn't. We're good. Sometimes players just get dragged across the screen. Quick Pick is trying to get me to bring Edouard Mendy into the team, even though he's injured, and we're 4-0 up. I mean, Kepa's playing ahead of this guy in real life at the moment. The difference between the two of them, ability-wise, really isn't that great. I don't really understand why the game is so insistent on me bringing Mendy back in when he's not even fully fit. Thankfully, I do have the power to ignore them, and ignore them I have. But, oh, that would have swayed a younger, less emotionally secure Kev. What am I even saying? I guess we do have the option of playing Pulisic and Sterling up front if Aubameyang gets injured, because I'm expecting him to. Is it 3 or 4 games in a row now? I forget how many players have actually been injured, but it is a number of consecutive games that our starting centre forward has gone off with a red injury. So I don't like that, and I don't want it to continue because I would quite like to win something. I think we are looking good for winning the Premier League this season. The Champions League is still likely to be a tougher proposition, especially in the injury crisis that we're in. But we've laid some good groundwork in the Premier League, and I don't want to mess that up because our players can't keep their hamstrings unpulled. What even is a hamstring? Do I have them, or is it just footballers have them? I'm 40 years old. I don't think I've ever pulled a hamstring. Why do these supposedly fitter than Kev professional footballers keep pulling theirs? Who's really the fittest? My hamstrings, still don't think they're real, are absolutely fine. You lot just faking it. If you want time off, tell me you want time off. Don't invent a body part. Ridiculous. Still 0-0 after 20 minutes. We start another highlight with Siri wants to get involved, clearly getting involved in the hamstring debate. Kante playing it forward to Mount, who once again is continuing to develop as a real key part of this team. We're basically building the team around Mason Mount. And I guess that's for the best because the rest of the midfield, a lot of them are going to be moving on in the next couple of years. Kovacic, Kante, Jorginho, Sterling even. These guys are all already 30 or going to be 30 within the next 2 or 3 seasons. And I'm not here for all these old men. We're having a youth revolution here at Chelsea. They've got such a good youth setup. So many good young players coming through or recently having come through into this first team. I don't know why they felt the need to bring in so many old men like Koulibaly and Aubameyang. It's absolutely baffling, and I'm here to fix it. So regardless of what happens, even if we win everything this year, we're doing the summer transfer window, and we're gonna finish this, put this Chelsea team set to dominate English and European football for years to come by getting some young players in, add a bit of youth in, get an average squad age of like 23, 24, like a good squad will always be. Kante playing it across to Kovacic. That's a lovely pass to Sterling, who brings it down on the chest and then looked like he knocked it down with his shoulder as well. But either way, gets it under control, fires it across the goalkeeper into that far corner, and we're 1-0 up just before half-time. It is 5-0 on aggregate. Let's have a look at the replay from the other angle. I think it is Kante playing the ball across to Kovacic. It's a lovely pass, and there is the chest and the shoulder from Sterling before bringing it down onto that right foot. And once he got it under control in the position he was in, he was not missing, and it is 5-0 on aggregate. And excitingly, Aubameyang not injured yet, so we've made it through 45 minutes without breaking a striker. Free kick comes in. Fofana, I think, is the one getting on the end of that, and his header goes just over. Decent opportunity for us to completely finish things off. Obviously, we are as good as through to the next round already, but what I would like to do is just grab a couple more goals and keep our momentum going in individual matches. I'm less concerned about the overall tie at this point than just scoring a few more goals this evening to re-inject some confidence back into us after a tough Premier League game in the previous weekend with, like we saw before, some more tough ones coming up as we try and win the Premier League. Sterling now on the right. What a pass through to Mason Mount, and he hits the inside of the post, and it's scrambled clear by Benfica. That was a lovely opportunity. Fantastic pass. Mount probably should be doing a little bit better and finishing that one off there. He didn't. So still 1-0. Chilwell with the cross, looking for Sterling at the far post. FM23, that goes in. That was an FM22 goal written all over it. That's what last year's game was all about. Those deep far post crosses were guaranteed goals. This year, of course, as we know, is the year of the through ball. Sterling, lovely. I mean, Sterling's having an absolute blinding game. He must have overheard me referring to him as too old, and he's trying to prove a point that he's really, what is he, 26, 27? I actually know how old Raheem Sterling is. Might even be older than that, or younger than that. Can't be younger than that. We'll look it up after this game. He's somewhere between 26 and 28. I'm certain of that. I've got a rough... We'll have a look now. I've got a rough idea. 28. There you go. Just turned 28. See? I know my players. That's good management right there. An hour gone. 1-0 on the night. 5-0 on aggregate. We're absolutely dominating proceedings. Benfica were very unimaginative 4-4-2. That is just... It didn't get anything done in the first match. It's not getting anything done in this match either. Brozier is fit enough to come off the bench, apparently. Okay. I don't know that he is, but we don't have any other strikers to come on, so we have to bring him on in the circumstances. Cucurella can come on as well, and we will take off Aubameyang to look after him. If we've got anybody who can go into this midfield three, yeah, Conor Gallagher can go in there, and then Mount can go out onto the left-hand side, and then Reece James, and that's how 5 substitutions done. And looking to save some tired legs and hopefully get some match fitness back into Brozier, who would be my first reserve for Havertz if he'd have managed to stay fit. But unfortunately, he got himself injured and has missed a huge part of this opportunity that Havertz being unavailable presented him with. If he'd have had this full 3, 4, 5 matches to just play, he could have ended all of this conversation I've had in every episode so far about wanting Tammy Abraham. If Brozier had shown me he was the man, I don't need Tammy. Missed the opportunity because of, again, a made-up body part. Never let that be forgotten, boys and girls. Right, still only 1-0. 5 minutes to go in this match. I would like to add a second if we could just lump the ball up towards Brozier and just let him have a nice little tap in just to rubber stamp it, because we are making hard work of this against a team we know we're comfortably better than. And it's the same problem we had against Brighton without all of our recognised strikers. Not that we've got many in the squad, but when they're all unavailable, we are struggling a little bit for goals. Sterling had a bright start to the game, but as tired as it's gone on and just isn't really involved anymore. Here's Mount playing it across to Gallagher, who shoots from range. Conor Gallagher is very quickly turning into one of my favourite players in this Chelsea squad. That is a lovely goal from him. He can do it all. He's the complete box-to-box midfield player. I love him. He's brilliant. Let's have a little look at it again from the other angle. Mount just playing it across. Gallagher bursts out of midfield, thwacks it from miles out, beats the goalkeeper. 2-0 on the night, 6-0 on aggregate. Job done, boys and girls. We're in the quarterfinal of the Champions League. I don't know when the draw is. Hopefully it's before this Leicester game that we've got coming up at the weekend so that we can find out who we're going to be playing. But excellent work. Yeah, the draw is coming up right now. So here we go then. Champions League draw o'clock. And it's pretty clear from this that Chelsea fans didn't understand the question here. Which team would you be your preferred opponent? Barcelona, Man City. So the two best teams left in the thing then. Definitely don't think they understood the question. Let's get this draw underway of all our beautiful Champions League graphics. Hugo Sanchez is the ceremony host. Let's get this drawn. So still in the competition, Manchester City, Tottenham, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, and us. So the correct answer to the question, who would you like to play, as we all know, is Tottenham. So let's see. Manchester City versus Tottenham. Fantastic. Real Madrid versus, no thank you, Barcelona. Oh, that is a juicy old tie. And then Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid, which means we've got Bayern Munich versus Chelsea. And there's your match build-up stuff so that we can see. See, this is quite a nice screen. I like this quite a lot. We don't have any head-to-head yet. As we get deeper into the save, that would be quite cool to look at. Ed Holden, he's got things to say. Goodness me. Well in, Ed Holden. Right, I think we now go straight into the semi-final draw. We don't. We have to come back out and go back in again, just like they do in real life, presumably. Hugo's still here. He's getting double bubble today, old Hugo Sanchez. Good work for Hugo. So it's going to be Bayern Munich or us in the semi-final versus Liverpool or Atletico Madrid, which means the other semi-final is Real Madrid or Barcelona versus Manchester City or Tottenham. It's not the most difficult route to the final we could have had in the history of the world. It's still pretty challenging, though, isn't it? Especially if we've got no strikers. Bayern Munich will be no mean feat. They are clear at the top of Bundesliga. And then if we get past them, we've got Liverpool, who are challenging us in the Premier League. Or where has the button gone? Atletico Madrid, who are 5th in La Liga. I mean, we could take them in our sleep, but that means Liverpool will deal with them before we even get to them. If we can get past Bayern Munich, we've always got a chance. Right, executive decision made to not actually show you the Leicester game because we had the Liverpool game on the horizon. So we're going to do the Liverpool game instead because that is a potential title decider. We won 4-0 over 10-man Leicester, very comfortable. I say the Liverpool game's a title decider. We're so far clear, it's only going to be involved in deciding the title if Liverpool beat us. If we win, we're going to go 10 points clear with a game in hand over Liverpool and still 10 points clear over Manchester United as well with just 8 games remaining. So I'd like to win, please. We have got a lot of our injured players back as well because we had an international break between the Champions League and the Leicester game. So it's been about 3 weeks of game time since the last match, which means everybody other than Hudson-Odoi and Gonçalves are now back. Kai Havertz only fit to play 75 minutes, but I think that's more than enough to get him back into the team for such an important match. So we are pretty close to full strength. Mendy in goal, a back four of Chilwell, Chalobah, Fofana and James. Jorginho and Kante in midfield, Pulisic, Mount and Sterling supporting Havertz up front. Let's just go beat Liverpool. It's as simple as that, really. Go beat Liverpool, who, I mean, it is a scary team, isn't it? In places, it's a scary team. We've just had the Next Gen Award come out, and Harvey Elliott, I think, was 6th on the Next Gen thing. It was won by Jude Bellingham, as you would expect, but Elliott featuring very highly on that. We had a couple of players in the top 50. Chukwuemeka, is that how you say his name? Who's currently out on loan at Hamburg, I think we sent him to, was top 30. And Slomina, the third choice goalkeeper, our young goalkeeper, he was top 40. So they were our two that we had in the next gen list. But yeah, it was all your typical names in there. The likes of Bellingham, Gavi, etc., etc. You know who you expect to see: Musiala, Moukoko, all those ones were all on the list. Sterling does very well to win the ball back in midfield, plays it forward to Havertz. Now Pulisic is through on this left-hand side. He's taken his time and got caught up with, really, but done very well to turn his man, play the ball into the middle, and Kai Havertz, on his return to the team after injury, is there with his 15th goal of the season. Pulisic was fantastic there. I mean, I know there's probably going to be people questioning how I can say in the same sentence, back to full strength, and Pulisic is still a starter, but he pretty much is nailed on as my starter on this left-hand side. Now, bearing in mind I brought in Pedro Gonçalves in the summer, who I fully expected to be my starting left winger, it's very much become Pulisic, and he has been really, really good. I highly rate him. Him on the left, Sterling on the right, Mount through the middle. That's kind of my three, and it is working very well for us. And there was an example of it from Pulisic, working excellently to set up that goal for Havertz. Who is the Liverpool number 12? Because that's who he skinned as part of that. I didn't even get a chance to Mount with the in-swinger. Oh, and Trevor Chalobah is there. Another one who you might be like, Kev, you said you were full strength. What's Chalobah doing starting ahead of Koulibaly? I think we've covered that already. We're going youth. Koulibaly is done. Koulibaly very much on the list with Aubameyang for players that we're getting rid of this summer, as Palaqueta as well. We might even get rid of one of Kante and Jorginho. I don't think we get rid of both. Jorginho is probably most likely to be out the door. But when we've got Conor Gallagher sat there not able to get in the team because of two old men, and if we're selling this many players, we could potentially bring in Gravenberch as well as another competitive option in midfield. So if we could get rid of like Aubameyang, Koulibaly, Jorginho, Azpilicueta, and bring in Tammy Abraham, Gravenberch, and Tomori, could we do that? Could we do all three and really freshen up the team with younger players? I don't know if the maths quite works out on that, because last time I checked with Tomori, we don't have a buyback price, and he was rated at over £100 million at Milan. So Tomori might not be an option, but there are other good young defenders we could go out there and try and grab once we've moved Koulibaly on. And we've even got, is it Levi Colwill? The lad who's out on loan at Brighton. I mean, he'll be back next season. We'll get to have a chance to have a look at him. He could potentially slot into the squad as our fourth centre-back. We've got Fofana, we've got Pavard, we've got Chalobah. So we've got plenty of options. I am liking the direction this Chelsea squad is taking, and it looks like we're going to be taking this direction with a Premier League title under our belts, because unless something goes desperately wrong in this game and then for the rest of the season, I don't think Manchester United or Liverpool are recovering from a 10-game deficit with only 8 matches to go. As far as I'm concerned, once there's a bigger points gap than games remaining, you've got it wrapped up. And surely that crossed the line. Referee, where's your goal line technology? Come on now. How are we not even having a look at that? That looked nailed on to be across the line. Havertz needs to come off because we were only going to play him for 75 minutes anyway, but I'm pretty sure he has just been robbed of a goal, and we've got a lot of tired legs. There's a lot of substitutions needed here because we've got the Bayern Munich match in just a couple of days' time. So we really do need to make sure that we are keeping these boys as fresh as possible. I think we're going to have to switch to a diamond here. We do have one loaded, so let's just shuffle everybody around. And yeah, that all looks like that works. Fofana's not allowed to be a ball-playing defender. He knows that. So let's finish the game off with a diamond, because we are running out of wide players. We could really do with Hudson-Odoi and Gonçalves, at least one of them, getting fit again for this run-in, because otherwise we are going to have to switch to this diamond more often, and we don't really have enough strikers to be able to do a diamond. This squad is paper thin. We need players in through the door, and there's another one of those feet-first saves that are one of the features of FM23. What a feature it is as well. Saving with your feet. What will they think of next? Feet in a football match? Madness. Jorginho looking for Brozier at the far post. It's occurred to me, I don't think we've got our set piece instructions on as part of this diamond, so we're probably going to be less effective from those than we normally would be. But as long as we defend them properly, like here, and don't let Liverpool back into this game. We'd be very upset if we do 5 substitutions and it lets Liverpool back in. That would be most distressing. Gravenberch, really not done very much in a Chelsea shirt yet, and there's another example of it. I don't know if we're going to spend big money on him. Bayern Munich are frustrated we're not really using him. He just doesn't seem the same man that I've loved in previous FMs. Aubameyang, the ball bobbles cleared to him, but he's not able to find the target. I am so done with Aubameyang. He is just a big old sack of frustration. Gravenberch to Gallagher, bursting through again. Conor Gallagher straight at the goalkeeper. He's got to do better than that. I mean, I know we're 2-0 up with 5 minutes ago. The job's pretty much done, but I'm always welcoming a Conor Gallagher goal, but we weren't able to get it in that situation. We are entering the 90th minute now, still 2-0 up. Pavard heads cleared to Gallagher. We've got a counter-attack on here, potential 3-on-3. Ball over the top to Aubameyang. Ambrosia is in the middle if we can find him, but we had to get past Virgil van Dijk to do it, and he is quite the target to navigate around, and Liverpool trying for a counter-attack of their own. Luis Diaz has got beyond our defence, one-on-one with Mendy, and that was truly pathetic. Straight into the hands of Mendy. I'm delighted. That should be that. Mendy lumps it clear. Now Gallagher is through on goal at the other end. It's total end-to-end stuff here, and he takes a wild shot that takes the deflection when Aubameyang was square of him, and he probably should have gone for him. But now we've got another one of these less effective than usual corners coming in from Ben Chilwell. Look, nobody on the near post. Nobody is going to believe that was a corner taken on my YouTube channel when we had literally nobody stood on that near post. It goes against everything I've ever stood for. Importantly, we have picked up the win. We are 10 points clear. And now we go into tomorrow's Champions League quarterfinal. We'll do both legs of that tomorrow. Tomorrow's Champions League quarterfinal, knowing the Premier League is close to one. In fact, we've got Manchester United. We're going to have to do a triple header tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be a longer one. A triple header. Both legs of Bayern Munich and the Manchester United game in the Premier League. That could be quite the eventful episode. You don't want to miss that one. If you've enjoyed this, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, including the 11 o'clock videos we've got coming out at the moment. There's a few little one-offs coming out throughout the beta period that you might want to check out, as well as daily videos at 12 o'clock on LOLLUJO 2, which are the highlights from the previous day's Twitch stream at twitch.tv/LOLLUJO. I am throwing content at you at the moment. Please consume it greedily. And thank you very much for watching.